The situation in Minneapolis continues to spiral, with unemployed idiots and paid provocateurs gathering to pester ICE. So President Trump is considering using the Insurrection Act to deploy National Guard troops to restore order, since obviously Tampon Tim doesn't know how to run his state. But we have to continue to show the Democrats, what's left of them in this country, that still have some parts of their brain functioning, that before Trump derangement syndrome set in, before the liberal pathogen spread across the country, pre-Trump administration, number one, the Democrats actually were engaged in the same kinds of activities to gather up the criminal illegal aliens and get rid of them. Here's Barack Obama back in 2008 at a debate complaining that George W. Bush wasn't doing enough to stop the criminal aliens from getting evicted.
This administration, the Bush administration, has done nothing to control the problem that we have. We've had 5 million undocumented workers come over the borders since George Bush took office. It has become an extraordinary problem.
See, back then, actually, the Republicans liked it. The big business stoners for the Republican Party liked it, and the Democrats actually were more opposed to illegal immigration. I mean, that is like, the rhinos, the leadership in Congress. The average Republican obviously was more against it than the average Democrat. But the Democrat Party actually did take a stance against it because, as Obama's laying out, it harmed blue-collar workers, all American workers.
And the reason the American people are concerned is because they are seeing their own economic position slip away. And oftentimes, employers are exploiting these undocumented workers. They're not paying the minimum wage. They're not observing worker safety laws. As president, I will make sure that we finally have the kind of border security that we need.
And back then, when even CNN was trying to appear like a real news network, they did segments like this, praising ICE, tracking down, arresting, and deporting the criminal illegal aliens. Obviously, they're all criminals, but like the ones who commit other crimes once they're here. The very operations that the Trump administration has been prioritizing. A day with ICE in the sanctuary city of Chicago.
We got 3 targets this morning. Some of the neighborhoods a little sketchy, so we got to make sure it's not just the target we're looking after, but other people around us.
They want to come out extra early, like right now, because they want to catch these people before they go to work. That's why it starts so early in the morning.
Ready to check? All right.
Allowing a CNN reporter to embed with them, again, not to attack them, but just to show them how they're keeping America safe, which CNN back then actually did kind of agree with. Cook County is one of more than 300 sanctuary cities in the United States.
Through your head. Your adrenaline blood pressure, of course, goes up when you're getting ready to do something like this.
Yes, because lunatics might attack you or try to run you over with a car, like Georgina Floyd.
This is Alberto Perez. He was just released from the Cook County Jail after being arrested on domestic battery. This morning, ICE agents went to the home where he was staying and arrested him.
Of course, in a normal society, instead of the Cook County jail system releasing him to go back home, they would have automatically turned him over to ICE. So then they're just complicating ICE's job. But thankfully, they got him.
So you have been arrested twice for battery, domestic battery. Did you know that these charges would put you at risk for deportation?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. I didn't know the consequence or the repercussions or anything like that.
No, I had no idea that coming to America illegally and then committing crimes would cause me to be deported. But that was then, and this is now, when we have legal immigrants, synthetic Americans, Americans on paper, who come here like Ilhan Omar and Representative Shri Thanindar, who get elected to Congress and then use the levers of power to try to undermine our own country.
ICE is beyond reform. ICE is totally out of control, and this week I intend to introduce a bill to abolish ICE. We need to make ICE go away.
And this is one of the countless reasons why we should have never allowed and should stop allowing legal immigrants, paper Americans, from holding any political office of any kind. The Constitution already prevents such people from becoming president because the Founding Fathers knew that they would always have foreign entanglements, foreign allegiances. But native-born Democrats aren't much better. Here's Tampon Tim just last year saying that Minnesota is not a sanctuary state at all. They have never impeded ICE's operations.
We have a broken immigration system in this country.
Of course, to Democrats, that means that they're not rubber stamping their green cards and work visas fast enough. They want all illegals, of course, legalized to become future Democrat voters. That's what that Orwellian newspeak means to them.
I think everyone in this room agrees with that. But nothing Minnesota has done to serve its own people stands in the way of the federal government managing border security and policies. While you've convened this hearing to explore the issue of so-called sanctuary states, Minnesota is not even a sanctuary state. Minnesota legislature has passed no such bill making Minnesota a sanctuary state, and I have signed no such law.
Well, as usual, that was then, and this is now.
We're a place where there's room for everybody, no matter who you are or who you love or where you came from.
Or what bleep hole country you came from.
A place where we feed our kids, we take care of our neighbors, and we look out for those in the shadows of life.
Where we use residents' tax dollars to pay for the food, housing, and daycare of Somali immigrants.
We're an island of decency in a country being driven towards cruelty. We will remain an island of decency, of justice, of community, of peace.
Of peace.
And tonight I come before you simply to ask, don't let anyone take that away from us.
An island of peace where the liberal residents rally behind a lunatic who hit an ICE agent with her vehicle and could have easily killed him, aided and abetted by the fake news industrial complex which continues to lie, like this PBS article which claims that it only appears that he was knocked backwards, but he was not hit. He wasn't hit at all. But by now, we've all seen the footage that the ICE agent himself recorded, showing that he clearly was struck by the vehicle. So now here is the mayor, Jacob Fry, downplaying that fact.
I mean, the ICE agent walked away with a hip injury that he might as well have gotten from closing a refrigerator door with his hips. Oh. He was not injured. I've seen worse injuries from doing that. And so give me a break.
Actually, after he went to the hospital, it was revealed that he had internal bleeding, sir. And the lies from Tampon Tim are so outrageous because he wants to inflame more chaos in his state to then just blame on President Trump. He's saying this.
The federal government is raining down upon our communities. 2,000 to 3,000 armed agents of the federal government have been deployed to Minnesota.
Well, that's a good start, but certainly not enough.
Armed, masked, undertrained ICE agents are going door to door.
Undertrained, actually, I think that guy was a 10-year veteran of ICE.
Are going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live. They're
Hey, is there any brown people around here?
And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors.
The agitators have been vandalizing ICE vehicles, and in one case, were able to obtain some proprietary documents inside of one and some ICE badges. So the FBI has offered a $100,000 reward in several cases. And while the liberal media is doing everything they can to try to turn Georgina Floyd into the saint of illegal immigrants, here is how upset CNN was when President Trump and others accurately pointed out that Ashley Babbitt was murdered.
You hear the former president and then his allies repeatedly try to make Ashley Babbitt a martyr, say that she was literally murdered by police. That is the word that he uses. How much do you think this narrative, those words, put your officers at risk?
So the Clown News says that it's a risk to officer safety to be upset and concerned about what they did to Ashley Babbitt, but I've been fanning the flames about Georgina Floyd, or as some are calling her, Georgina Foyd, on a daily basis. We all know that everything they say and do is the exact opposite of reality, and nothing illustrates that better than this clip showing Tampon Tim claiming that it's the ICE agents who are the ones committing crimes. They're the criminals. juxtaposed with the foot soldiers of the Marxist Democrat Party.
Take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution.
Oh, that's what they're doing. Future prosecutions against the foot soldiers, the useful idiots who believe you.
I said this yesterday. We've never been at war with our federal government.
At war. Now, he's declaring war against ICE. Him and his wife love war. Here she is celebrating the smell of her city burning during the George Floyd riots of 2020.
I could smell the burning tires. And that was a very real thing. And I kept the windows open for as long as I could because I felt like that was such a touchstone of what was happening.
Who leaves the windows open when you can smell burning rubber coming into your house? But as usual, Texas Senator Ted Cruz is worried about Israel. He posted this video yesterday on social media, encouraging regime change over in Iran, trying to beat the war drums and convince President Trump to do Israel's dirty work again.
I want to talk directly to the people of Iran who are standing up, who are demonstrating incredible bravery, standing against the Ayatollah and the mullahs, standing for freedom.
Yes, he did add one of the tracks from Interstellar, produced by Hans Zimmer, the great composer, to try to add some dramatic effect, because he really means business. He wants to talk directly to the people of Iran.
Thank you for your courage. You need to know America stands with you. America stands with your fight.
No, Ted, Americans care about America, and we're focused on the protests in Minneapolis because we don't want our own country to completely collapse. And as a U.S. Senator, maybe you should try working on behalf of America for a change. Ben Shapiro is also salivating again, hoping that America bombs Iran again on behalf of his precious Israel, and is very upset that Vice President Vance is kind of trying to put the brakes on that and suggesting maybe there should be some diplomatic solutions.
Now, Vice President J.D. Vance suggested that the smartest thing for the Iranians to do is for them to have a real negotiation with the United States about their nuclear program. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. That's nonsense. That's just crap. That's silly. I like the vice president, but that's nonsense.
That's nonsense, little Ben. We need to just go and bomb them again for Israel.
Jews have been kicked out of every country we've ever lived, and it's never been our own fault.
Well, that certainly is one opinion, but if you agree with mine and you want to support my work, then buy me a coffee by clicking the link in the description below. It's a great crowdsourcing service that is much better than sending a super thanks or super chat because YouTube takes 30% right off of the top. So instead, just buy me a coffee by clicking the link in the description below and checking it out.